What is up, guys? It is HumbleZeus here, bringing you some more Battlefield Hardline Beta. And we've gone over my first impressions, my final kind of review, but now I'm going to kind of cover, should we buy the game? Should you, as the consumer, obviously spend your money, 60 bucks or more on this game? I'm going to try to go from the as little bias as I can, because I've said that I do generally enjoy myself some Battlefield. And it might cause some people to say, well, he's just saying that to make us buy a game. Like, I'm not going to make you do anything. But I kind of want to go over it with you. Oh, Lord. So we're going to kind of go in and see if this game is worthy to spend $60 on. Because obviously that's a lot of money now. And I don't want you guys to waste your money on a game that is not worth it. Okay, can we get this dude? And we missed. Alright. Either way, though, I still think, in my opinion, I'm going to get this game because it has aspects of Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4, and overall feels like a very nice game. It reminds me of what, or at least to me, feels like what a bigger Call of Duty, a bigger, more like open but still functioning Call of Duty would feel like. And I'm not saying it because the reason I'm buying it is because it feels like Call of Duty. It has Battlefield aspects. And that's what drives me towards the game, but it also incorporates aspects from other games that I enjoy, so I'm more willing to buy it. And to me, that's kind of what makes me want to buy a game. Aspects of it that either remind me of other games that I love to play, or very special features about a game. And this game does feel really nice, especially something that's coming out of Battlefield. Battlefield has kind of been big maps, recently more giant weapon designs, everything. You have a huge arsenal of weaponry, large scale battles with vehicles incorporated. So to see it go from that to kind of a more, it feels like infantry combat is also just as viable as vehicle combat, which I think is a plus for people who were turned off because they felt like in order to do well you had to have vehicles. It doesn't feel near as much like that. It still has some reliance on vehicles, but they're more for getting from point A to point B. Once you got from point A to point B, you can do whatever you want. If you want to keep using a vehicle, you are encouraged, but at the same time, you have to be aware that your vehicle will probably be blown up by someone with an RPG. Or you can go on foot, which offers less protection than going in a vehicle, but you're more mobile and you can fire more. As the fact that you can spawn on cars now, so it gives you larger bases of operation. So, in my mind, if something was like, if before you didn't like this kind of dependence on vehicle combat, you are now basically free to do whatever you want, and that's kind of why I think this game gets a point for that. It has aspects that benefit both sides of play. You don't have to do one or the other. You can do both, or you can do one solo. As for class roles, they all feel pretty nice. Nothing feels overshadowing. Everything kind of plays in a team aspect. Did not expect that dude to be there. And I like that. This has been standard for Battlefield. The classes don't feel overpowered, don't feel broken. They each seem to have their own weapon categories against the beta, so I don't know if they'll do that kind of thing with Battlefield where other classes can borrow weapons, I would say. But currently each class only gets certain weapons, so you will have to use certain classes to use certain things. Not every class can use a shotgun, not every class can use a carbine. I don't even think there are carbines in this game as far as I know. But again, beta, they don't have obviously everything on display, but what they do have, I could safely say I would buy. As for negatives, if you don't really like if you preferred bigger range battles, like large scale, vehicle heavy combat, then this may not be the game for you. There is some of that, but based on what I see, the maps are going to be a bit smaller, and that's obviously going to affect just how much enjoyment you'll get out of the game. Because if you were somebody who preferred rolling up in a tank, sorry to tell you this, but tanks aren't really going to probably make much impact in this game. I don't think they're going to be in this game, to be honest, because I don't know how the military got, well, not military, but like cops got hold of a tank. So that might be a turn-off to some people, that the fact that, you know, you're really not going to be using vehicles other than transportation purposes, which is, in my opinion, fine, because I was more a fan of infantry combat anyway. So to me, that appeals to me, but obviously some people that might turn people off, and you might want to stay towards the more standard Battlefield that has all the jets and all things. And I mean, that's perfectly fine too. It's always up to you, but I feel like this game gives more choice, and that's something that you kind of want. The spawning on people's system still stays the same. There's no real difference in terms of that mechanic. So you're not gonna, like, you're still gonna have those moments like I just had where I spawn on somebody and then immediately get murdered, so you're really gonna have to pay attention to what you're doing. So that might be something that if you were hoping they kind of changed a bit or tweaked so that that didn't happen as much. Fortunately for you, that's still a thing that happens. And I mean, I don't like, that's probably like the one real aspect of Battlefield I don't like, but I can deal with it. Melee combat has received a bit of a change. Instead of like killing, you're kind of more incapacitate. Which is, I mean, obviously unless some people are like really like, no, he must die, he must be stabbed to the chest. It really shouldn't matter much to you, so I don't think that's going to be a huge factor. As far as I've seen, there's no counter. And it works the same way. If you try to go from the front, you're going to have to do 2 hits, and then you'll get your incapacitation or whatever you want to call it, takedown, I suppose. Or behind, you just do the animation. You put them down. The animation, like always, takes forever though, so if you were someone who's kind of hoping they'd just make it like quick, it's not quick at all, it's slow. So that might be something. I mean, I'm like basically like scraping to find actual complaints because everything else seems pretty well. The 2 game types are alright. With the way the game flows, camping is not really encouraged. It doesn't really do much since obviously a lot of them revolve around people moving around. So you kind of have to keep moving to actually get anything done. And so I like that because I feel like I'll run into less campers in certain game types. In others, I feel like maybe there will be a little bit of camping, but I don't think it'll be like a huge problem. But in my opinion, I don't think anything too bad in terms of like just people sitting in one corner are gonna happen. I still feel like LMGs can kill from a really long range. I was playing with the LMGs for a bit, and I just used one, and I was like picking people off from across the map, and I wasn't even trying to do this. It was just happening. Oh, I was so hoping I could get this dude. But in general, I think this game has done a very good job at what it set out to do. And I don't see any real reason to not buy it, since, as far as I can see, they've learned from their mistakes of Battlefield 4. I don't see any big issues. Even in the beta's been pretty good. I have no real complaints other than some very minor bugs that obviously will probably only exist in the beta. So if I had to say, I would definitely at least consider this game on your roster of games that you could potentially buy, even if you're not the biggest fan of immediately buying it. Obviously, it's understandable. Some people want certain games, other people don't want games, so you do kind of have to make a concession here and there. But I do think this game has a good potential to be pretty either above average or pretty good for their first kind of attempt with a game kind of this style. And I mean, if you're kind of just like that person who's kind of like, I don't want my Battlefield games to be different, well, I don't really know what to say to that, because I think that trying something new is really good for you, like trying some new kind of games, new styles, especially if they have the kind of same features of games you've previously liked. I can definitely say you should try it out. At least give it a chance to impress you. If not, obviously you can go return it when it comes out. It's not going to be too hard. You can go sell it on eBay for an outrageous amount of money. Whatever you want to do. Whatever is more convenient for you. But I do have to say that currently this game, I don't have much complaints with. Obviously things might change. Some complaints might appear. Some complaints might disappear. I highly doubt this game will be perfect, and I highly doubt it will please everybody. But from those of the people I've talked with, they've played the game, and they were hard-pressed to come up with lots of criticism. And I'm also in the same category. I was looking around, I'm like, what do you guys have you complain about? And they can't really complain about everything. Vehicles feel the same way they did before, so if you're used to them, then you should not have any issues. The game is, in my opinion, easy to get into. It's not very hard. They made it feel like more friendly, I think, because I know Battlefield can be a bit hard to enter, but once you do get into it, you can find a deep love of it. But it is like one of those games that I feel has a bit, because of its tactical like style, you do have to work a bit harder to figure out how to play. But I feel like in this game, they've made it very simple. Just pick up a gun, follow your squad, and you should be fine. And I like that about this game. I like how they've done it, I like how they implemented it, and I hope this game does well. I really want it to do well. I want it to succeed because this game is really fun. It's a lot of fun. I have lots of fun playing with it. I can't wait for the full game to be released. I want to see all the new maps. The style they've gone for, the artistic style fits, like the city, kind of where you expect a robbery to happen. The Levolution so far is very nice. That's like one small complaint though, is that the vibrations from Levolution are massive. Like your controller will be like trying to shake itself out of your hands, and so I guess you might have to turn vibration off. But if you like looking at the Levolutions, then I think you're gonna like this. I've shown him, I think what it happened, this thing falls, crane falls down, and I think I showed it in one of my videos before, either like the first or second one. I did show that it fell, and I was just like, the Levolution's real. So hopefully this kind of like gives you some kind of insight onto what we've currently seen. I know some people obviously didn't make it into the beta. I don't even know if the beta is still open or available to get into. You can double check. I think it could still be open because it wasn't that hard to get into to begin with. So I mean, take a look if you can. Look around. There's lots of people at least talking about the game, the beta, and you might find some aspect of it that interests you. If not, I mean, that's perfectly fine. No one's forcing you to like the game. But take a quick look, put it on your radar. There's a lot of other good games coming out, but I don't think this one should be overlooked just because shotguns can go to hell as well. And I'll see you guys later. Please leave a like, comment on whether or not you're going to buy the game, what your opinions are on it. Has Battlefield 4 kind of ruined the Battlefield series entirely for you, or kind of what are your opinions on it? So I'll leave you guys to that. Make sure you follow me on Twitter to keep up with all my videos, all the information regarding anything I want to talk about, be it Destiny, Battlefield, whatever, video games, things that aren't video games, whatever I cover that day. So make sure to stick around for those things. And just have an awesome day. It's Bunker Hill Day. Go out, do something, run in the yard, watch my videos, and then do whatever it is you do when you're not watching my videos. So I'll see you guys later. Zeus out.